If you feel like you're saying the same thing to your toddler 5, 10, or even 15 times before they finally listen, you're not alone. And here's something interesting. Your child may seem completely different at daycare. They clean up, they line up, they wash their hands, they follow the teacher's directions. Then they come home and suddenly it's like you've been talking to a brick wall. But here's the part I want you to know. It's not necessarily because they respect their teacher more. And it's not because you're doing something wrong. As an early childhood educator, I've learned that a big part of cooperation comes from something parents don't always think about: the environment. Today, I'm going to show you 3 things we use in early childhood settings that you can bring into your home to make getting your toddler to listen much easier without yelling. Think about what a typical early childhood classroom looks like. There are predictable routines. The same areas are used for the same purposes. There are visual cues. Transitions often have songs, timers, or familiar signals. And children aren't expected to remember a long list of instructions all at once. There's another piece that's easy to miss. Children also watch other children. When everyone starts cleaning up, washing hands, or getting ready for lunch, that group momentum helps. So when your toddler comes home and suddenly seems much less cooperative, it doesn't automatically mean they're choosing to disrespect you. Home is a completely different environment. The routines may be more flexible. The expectations may change throughout the day, and you're also their parent, not their classroom teacher. So instead of asking, how do I make my toddler listen? Try asking, how can I make the direction easier for their brain to follow? That's where these 3 strategies come in. The first change is simple. Get close before you give the direction. If your toddler is across the room, building a tower, and you yell, "Come, put your shoes on," you've asked their brain to stop what it's doing, shift attention, process your words, and start a completely different task. Instead, walk over, get near them, say their name, pause, then give the direction. For example, Maya, pause, 2 more blocks, then shoes on. That's it. You don't need a 5-minute explanation. You're simply helping your child shift their attention before asking them to do something different. And notice that I said get their attention, not force eye contact. You don't need to make your toddler stare directly into your eyes. You want their attention oriented towards you in the direction you're giving. The second strategy is something we use constantly in early childhood settings. Give the transition something concrete to attach to. Toddlers don't have the same understanding of time that adults do. So saying, "You have 5 minutes left," doesn't always mean much. Instead, connect the transition to something they can actually see or hear. You might use a timer, a cleanup song, a visual schedule, or even a simple physical cue. For example, when the timer rings, shoes on. Or when the cleanup song starts, toys go in the basket. Now your toddler isn't just hearing a random instruction. They're beginning to recognize a predictable pattern. This happens, then that happens. That's exactly the kind of structure we build into early childhood environments. The third strategy is one I wish more parents heard. Say less. Not because your toddler doesn't deserve an explanation, but because there's a time for explanations and there's a time for simple direction. Imagine your toddler is jumping on the couch. You might be tempted to say, "Stop jumping on the couch. I told you before. You're going to fall and hurt yourself, and then we're going to have to go to the doctor." Your toddler has already lost the instruction somewhere around sentence 2. Try, "Feet on the floor." That's the direction. Later, when everyone is calm, you can explain the rule. Another example, instead of, "Come on, we need to get your shoes because we're going to Grandma's and we're already running late." Try, "Get your shoes." One step, then the next. Toddlers are still developing the attention, memory, and self-regulation skills needed to manage long, complicated instructions. So sometimes, less language creates more cooperation. Now I want to make something very clear. These strategies aren't magic. Your toddler is still allowed to say no. They're still going to have big feelings. And sometimes you're going to need to hold a boundary, especially when safety is involved. If your toddler is running toward the street, you don't stand there explaining executive function. You stop them. You can calmly say, "I won't let you run into the street," and physically keep them safe. Calm parenting doesn't mean permissive parenting. You can be warm and hold a firm boundary. The goal isn't to make your toddler obey every instruction immediately. The goal is to make communication clearer while recognizing what their developing brain can realistically handle. And there's one habit I want you to watch this week. Repeating yourself from across the room. You say, "Come here." Nothing. "Come here." Nothing. "Come here." Now suddenly they're moving. The problem isn't that your child magically understood you better when you yelled. You've created an escalation pattern. Instead, try changing the pattern. Get close. Get their attention. Give one short direction. Then follow through calmly. You may have to repeat yourself sometimes. That's normal. But don't make louder and louder instructions your communication system. If there's one thing I want you to take from this video, it's this. Don't just change what you say. Change what surrounds the instruction. In early childhood education, we don't expect a toddler to navigate every transition through verbal instructions alone. We use routines, visual cues, physical spaces, songs, timers, peer modeling, and simple, predictable directions. You can borrow those same principles at home. Your toddler doesn't need a perfect parent. They need an environment that makes the next step easier to understand. Now I'm curious, what's the one thing your toddler completely refuses to listen to you about? Bedtime? Getting dressed? Leaving the park? Cleaning up? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more practical toddler strategies from an early childhood educator, check out the other videos in this series. I'll see you in the next one.